going on, guys? It's Cliffy here. Today we are playing the final of the Australian Sevens, and this is probably going to be our toughest test to date, taking on South Africa, a team that is very close to us ability-wise, so we will need to be careful because I think this could potentially be our first loss of the tournament, and we don't want that, especially in the final. So we are going to have to be careful that we don't go and allow anything too drastic. But we've started off well, got a couple of good tackles, and we'll look to go and build on that there. But apart from that, not really too sure what. Not too sure what else we can say. We've done well in this tournament, obviously going unbeaten. We have had a few scares, I guess you would say, but hopefully those are past us, and we can go and build for this big final, this big grand final of the Australian Sevens, as I said, against South Africa. And these two teams actually took on each other last weekend in the Rugby Championship. We will get to that in the second half, but for now, let's just go and enjoy the gameplay of this first half. We've hardly had our hands on the ball, but there is an error from South Africa, the first one of the game, and it could be crucial because it did look like they did have an overlap on the outside, and that could have meant first blood to South Africa in this game. But we've started off well. As I said, we've defended well. It has been for almost the first 2 minutes. We haven't touched the ball. And we have actually lost the scrum, so we are going to have to wait a little bit longer to get some ball. But that is, I was going to say a good tackle, but he has actually been shrugged off, and he is going to head in to the corner for the first try for the South Africans. So they head up 5-0 very early on, and a very weak tackle by myself, just bumped off completely. And that is not what the coaching staff will like to see. Neither is that. A conversion, a drop kick from the sideline. South Africa hit up 7-0 inside the first 2.5 minutes. And we are going to have to get our A into G, boys, if we are going to make something of this. Because we still don't have the ball. And South Africa, I was going to say, are almost through again. And they are just absolutely pummeling us at the start of this game. They are destroying us. And that is just what we needed. That big... Oh, beautiful, Cliffy. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The steal from inside our own 22. And I'm not too sure who that is, but he's possibly away. And he is going to win the race in the end. So we pick up a try, courtesy of that turnover down inside our own 22. And high fives all around for the New Zealand Sevens. As we pick up our first try, Sherwin Stowers fighting right back. And would you look at that? It must be our day. Declan O'Donnell is on form. He is 1 from 1. And all of a sudden, back to 7-all, 1 try apiece inside 3.5 minutes. Now, do remember that we do play slightly longer in a final. And what a pass it is from Declan O'Donnell out to Sherwin Stowers. He's going to pick up his second try. And just like that, we score off the kickoff and we are back in the ascendancy, boys. Man, this is... what a game this is so far. We've seen action, non-stop action. South Africa, it was all them the first 2.5 minutes. Since then, we have fought back in the next minute and a half. Scored 2 tries, missed the conversion though, but still have the lead after 4 minutes. So this has really been an action-packed game to start things off, to start this first half. And we'll be looking to go and not let up here because we've done the hard work, we defended well, and we just need to go and continue to keep playing, I guess, the way we know. And not to do anything silly. Hopefully we can cut this guy off. Oh, which is what we've done. We haven't made the tackle, but the ankle tap will be enough on the South African fullback to force the line out. So a good try-saving tackle there from Cliffy. And we move in, win the line out, and head in to the 5-minute mark of this final. So as I said, things are slightly longer in the final. I believe instead of the 7 minutes, you do play 10. Again, I don't 100% know the reason for that, but that's a great steal at a great time. And I believe that is Sherwin Stowers heading in for his third. But again, you have to admire the work from Cliffy. Great work at the breakdown. He's gone, stayed on his feet, won that ball. And that is the second try like that he has set up. Obviously not as close to the goalpost. But remember, the first try was actually made from a turnover inside our own 22. So that is definitely promising, and we will definitely take that, build on that. And what as I said, great work we've done at the breakdown here today, and we'll look to be continuing that heading into, I was going to say, the second half, but we do still have a fair bit of time left to go in this first half here before we can go and get too ahead of ourselves. Still 4 minutes, so it is a long time that is left to go. And as I said, we do need to be careful because very good at offloading these South Africans, and very good, I was going to say, at just being able to run and get around our players. We have seen that. They have been quick so far, but we have been good. We've made a couple of good tackles, and that is actually not going to be the greatest of throws in the world. It has been one against the head, against the throw, whatever you want to call it. And this is where we do need to be careful. I'm not too sure why the pass came there, but Cliffy, either way, is not going to be quick enough to chase him down. But I think that is Sherwin Stowers who has gone and has actually won it there. I'm not too sure why we haven't won that ball, why we haven't committed more players in. And for some reason, we are playing, as I said, in the final. But it has gone 7 minutes, and it has gone into referee's time here. So I'm not 100% sure what is happening there. I thought that the final was slightly longer, but obviously not the case. And I was going to say, speaking of case, I thought we had gone and turned that one over, but turn over that one. That is our third turnover for the half. We are absolutely destroying it. As we can see, South Africa, they have had all the possession so far. We have had to make all the tackles, 33 to South Africa's 4. And we need to get our hands on the ball in the second half. And if we can do that, it is going to make things a hell of a lot easier for us heading into... Not this way. Not this way. That is absolute bullshit. I'd say that we need to keep our hands on the ball. We can't even win it off the kickoff, and South Africa score basically without anyone touching him. No one did touch him, and that is a very big concern because now all of a sudden those two conversions could come back to haunt us. The score is now 17-4 to South Africa, and we need our hands on the ball. We need to get something going. We just need possession, and that is something that we did not have in the first half. Remember, we have not made any running meters whatsoever. We've made 4 in the entire game. It has been more or less our work at the breakdown that has had such an effect on this game. It has led directly to 2 tries, and it led to, I guess, the half-time hooter going. And that's a good kick from South Africa, just to ease the pressure. Pressing up were the All Blacks, 7s, and this may be not straight either, so that potentially... No, it is alright. I was going to say potentially could have been the second throw that was against the head. And here goes Cliffy looking to get those running meters up. And still going, the big fella. Would you believe it? How many tackles has he broken there? He's broken through almost the whole South African defence. Gets those running meters just like that. It was a massive surge. And how many players were bumped off there? It was just absolutely incredible. But a try under the post. And more importantly... I was going to say, even if Declan O'Donnell did miss that conversion, is it pushes the score out to more than a converted try ahead. Because he has made that conversion, it makes things easier. It means that our lead is out to 10 now. So that is basically 2 scoring plays, and even for that, you still are only going to get the draw. Cliffy, I was going to say, looking for another... turnover, but he's actually won a penalty instead. South Africa holding on at the breakdown there, and I'm not too sure what we're going to do in this situation. Possibly tap and run, I was going to say, would be the thing to do, and it potentially is going to lead to a try as well, but it is some good defence that we've seen there from South Africa to... Oh no, Cliffy, what have you done? What have you done? You've won a scrum, it's alright, it could have been worse. I was going to say that is an absolutely appalling option, but not the case. We have won the scrum. Remember, our first scrum was very suspect, I guess you would say, for a lack of a better word. And big Cliffy, just powering over the line again. This big fella who is playing at first 5'8", you know, it is very hard to take him down, especially in those close quarters. And just like that, for all the possessions South Africa have had, they have not turned it into points, and that has been clinical for us. The score now 29-14, 15 points difference, which again, 3 scoring plays out. Yeah, it is 3 scoring plays out. Yep, because 2 converted tries, 14. Then obviously the drop goal needed as well. And with only 3.5 minutes left to go, you would have to say that it is New Zealand's game to lose here. We have just failed the handling error task that we were required. But I think we are going to come back for I was going to say a double knock-on, but the advantage apparently was over for South Africa. And they won't be too happy with that because... No, hang on. The advantage must have still been going, and I don't know why the referee has played on, because the South Africans looked as though they knocked it on. It possibly could have been kicked, but I don't think that that was the case. And how good defensively has Cliffy been today? He has just been an absolute menace in and around the ruck. He's caused 3 turnovers, got a penalty as well for the South Africans holding on, and 2 of those turnovers had led directly to a try, but has also made tackles galore, as I said, in close. There was a try-saving tackle as well, an ankle tap that was just clipped the South African fullback into touch. And this is the prime position that we do want to be in. Not too sure how we haven't won that there, but it is just going to go and eat up a little bit more time. As we can see, just under 2 minutes left to go, a minute and a half now, until we can get this going. And I've completely forgotten to talk about the Rugby Championship results for the weekend, so we're going to do that quickly. First game, as I said, New Zealand, South Africa, 41-13 to South Africa. To the All Blacks, 13 going to South Africa. It's the second game in a row that the All Blacks have only allowed the opposition a penalty in the second half. So it just shows you how good they are in the second half, how they just excel, which I think is the big difference between us and other teams in World Rugby at the moment. And Australia, they picked up their second win of the comp. They beat Argentina 36-20. What those results do mean is that with the 2 games left to play, the 2 away games to South Africa and Argentina for the All Blacks, is that they have already secured the Rugby Championship for 2016. They're on 20 points. Next closest is Australia, who are on 9. So the most you can get from 2 games is obviously 10 points by getting by getting 2 bonus points and the win. So the Rugby Championship is coming back to New Zealand for 2016. Remember, it did go to Australia in 2015, and that is not gonna, well, it is very, very good. What isn't good is that defense by me, but it has been a very entertaining final. It's going to finish up 29-21. You'd have to say South Africa would make this kick, but either way, it has been a very, very good game for the neutral to watch. And it's been very fun to play. It's been a very eventful, very energetic final. But the All Black Sevens, they managed to go and pick it up here. They pick up the Australian Sevens world title, and as we can see, on the World Series, and as we can see, high fives all around. Cliff getting 2, Shu and Stowers getting 3, and at the end of the day, that was the difference, was just 8 points, but that was down to the superiority of the tries that were scored by the New Zealand Rugby Sevens. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Make sure you check out my Facebook and Twitter links that can be found down below in the description. Hope you're having a good week so far. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got more Don Bradman, My Career Reborn, coming your guys' way. Make sure you do not miss that.